In this video, we will quickly walk through the most commonly used things in Powerchart, including adding note templates, using note templates, charting cervical exams, other general charting tips, and making orders. To access notes, go to the MD Documentation tab. Here you'll find any notes that have already been made for the patient. You'll have a few commonly used templates, and I'll show you how to add them now. So you click Add. Here under Favorites, you'll see all of your favorite templates. Right now I have none. To add them, go to the Catalog tab. These are the note templates that you'll need to add to Favorites. So under Maternity, you want OB Triage Soap Note, Admission L&D, Follow-up Labor Assessment, Postpartum Rounds, Vaginal Delivery Procedure, and a free text note. So add to Favorites. Then you'll go to Level 1 Nursery and add Admission Note, Progress Note, which is where you'll document your second physical exam usually, Free text note, add to Favorites. And the discharge summary templates can be found under discharge summary. So you'll want to add mom's discharge summary, which is obstetrics, and baby's discharge summary, which is called NICU discharge summary. So now if you go back to the Favorites tab, you'll see that all of the templates you added can be found here. When a patient first presents to triage, you'll either end up filling out an OB admission note or an OB triage soap note. So the admission note is for patients who you will be admitting to the L&D floor. So you'll fill this out. The OB triage soap note is for any other assessment you do for the OB patients who come to triage who you may not necessarily be admitting to the L&D. Follow-up labor assessment is the note you'll use when you reassess your patients during their labor, and that'll include things like number of contractions and the cervical exam. Once mom delivers, there's a vaginal delivery procedure note. Most of the time, the staff will be the one filling this out, so you don't need to do this, but just double check with your staff what their preference is. And before they leave, you'll have to do postpartum rounding on the mom, and you'll use the postpartum rounds template for that. There's a couple things I want to highlight on the note templates. So one is in follow-up labor assessment. This pop-up just shows what information can automatically populate. So within the template, you can click through all of these things, and you can even document the cervical exam. And when you document it here, it'll actually show up in the patient's flow sheet, which I'll show you later. To save the note, you can click Save, or you can click Sign and Submit to finalize the note. If you click Sign and Submit, it just means it'll be visible by anyone who's on the chart, whereas if you click Save, only you'll be able to see it. And if you want to cancel this whole note, you can just click Cancel and discard changes. Once baby's born and you want to enter notes into baby's chart, you can access that quickly from mom's chart by either clicking Related Records in the shortcuts here, or you can find it under Chart and Related Records. Under the admission note for the baby, there's a couple things I wanted to point out. So here you see that a lot of the information is auto-populated, such as the delivery date, and the birth weight. And sometimes these things like the APGAR, the birth weight, they won't have been entered into the system by the RT yet if you start making this note too early. So sometimes it's helpful to just start the note and then go back to edit it a few hours later so that this information will automatically populate. This is the discharge summary for the baby. Here, the most responsible healthcare provider refers to the doctor who will be seeing the baby after they're discharged from hospital. This is oftentimes the same doctor who's been following the mom throughout the pregnancy, but it's important to check with the family who will be following up the baby to make sure that this gets sent to the right person. You can view all the cervical exams by going to Interactive View and I&O. There's a few tabs on here, and you go under the Labor tab and go to Cervical Exams. So up on the top, you'll see the time, and you can see all the information like the cervical dilation, effacement, and station. And you can just scroll through the timeline like that. So there's more cervical checks here. So when I pointed out the part of the follow-up labor assessment note template where you can enter your cervical exam, if you enter the cervical exam there, it automatically populates over here in this flow sheet. Another more visual way to look at serial cervical exams is by going to Provider View and going to the Partogram tab. So for most patients, you won't be able to see anything until you chart the onset of labor, and you can just click here. All that does is take you back to the flow sheet that we were just looking at, and you need to find where to enter the labor onset time. And that can be found under labor, cervical exam, and it'll be this one here. So let's say this person started active labor at 2:45 a.m. So I'm just scrolling back to the time. And they started at 2:45 a.m. So I'll enter the date there. And the time, and click enter. Anytime you add things directly to the flow sheet, it'll show up in purple like this. And to finalize the entry, you have to sign it. So you go do that by clicking here. Now that you've added the labor onset, you should be able to use the partogram. So go back to Provider View and back to the Partogram tab and click Refresh. So now you can see everything here. So this is just a more visual way to look at the cervical dilation over time. You can hover over each point to see how dilated the cervix was and at what time. Another useful feature for baby is looking at the 24-hour weight loss. So that can be accessed by going to Provider View and then Neonate Summary tab. And on here you can see the birth weight, the most recently measured weight, and what time it was done. And you can see the percent weight loss from the birth weight to the most recent weight result. The easiest way to see any medications that the patient's been given is to go to the MAR summary. And here you can see the scheduled medications and what time they were given it, on which date, as well as their PRN medications. To add orders, go into the Orders tab, click Add, and search for the order you're looking for. And then click Done. So on this page, you can see all the orders that are going to be going through. make sure you check off things that need to be checked off, such as nutrition. You have to select one of the types of diets. And when you're happy with this, click Orders for Signature. Sometimes you'll get a notification that there's duplicate orders. So for this example, if this person already had a fluid bolus ordered, it'll show me that I'm ordering it again. This often happens when you order the oxytocin dose during delivery and the patient's already been on oxytocin for induction. So as long as it's not actually a duplicate order, you can just ignore it and click Continue. So after that, you'll be taken to this page, and on this page, nothing is finalized yet until you click Sign. But Powerchart will not allow you to click Sign until you fill in the missing information, which is marked by these blue X's. So to fill in missing information, you just click on the order where there's a blue X and fill in anything that's highlighted. So here they want to know who the responsible physician is. And once all the missing information is filled in, you'll be able to click Sign. If you're not happy with these orders, you can cancel all of them just by refreshing the page and saying that yes, you want to cancel all these actions. To cancel an order, select the order and right-click and click on Discontinue Cancel. Most of the time, clicking on Cancel Reorder or Modify does not end up allowing you to make the changes you want to make. So it's just easier to discontinue cancel and then make a new order. So once you click Discontinue Cancel, again, it'll take you to this Orders for Signature. And again, it won't be finalized until you click Sign. You can also convert your order to a prescription that you can hand to the patient. You right-click, select Convert to Prescription, and fill in the information, then press Orders for Signature, and then Sign.